Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. You'll know that recently we did some silicone mold dipping with spray paint and water. So many asked me if it could be done with ecos. I wasn't sure, but I have been told by several people, yes, it works with ecos, which was so exciting. So I decided to have a play and test 4 different ecos to see what it looks like when we actually dip the silicone molds and fill the molds with ecos. Now, I have to let you know, I've been calling this hydro dipping. I've already had several comments saying this is actually technically not hydro dipping, but I think for the sake of my own brain, that's why I've been calling it that, because I'm not really sure what else to kind of call it apart from the whole thing. You know, like we're dipping silicone molds into water, and the water has a surface layer of spray paint that has been spray painted in sporadic kind of alternate patterns. It's just easier to say hydro dipping at this point, but yes, that's probably not the technical proper term. Let's just go with it, shall we? Let's be rebels. Okay, you'll see there now I'm using metallics. Like I did in the last video, I really wanted to test metallics out. This was a technique that I saw on Never Perfect Resin's YouTube channel, and oh my goodness me, when I said game changer, I was not kidding. So many of you have tried it and you all love it. It is giving the most fantastical marble results in resin ever. So much better than trying to marble with resin alone. This is incredible. But listen, today's all about the ecos. So again, I'm using just the gold and the white. I'm trying to make this experiment as equal as possible. I want every single tray to have exactly the same colors. Now, we're never going to get the same patterns because that's nigh on impossible, but still, we're just gonna roll with the gold and the white because they gave me the most stunning results in the last video where I did this hydro dipping technique. Now, the bucket of water is cold. So a few of you did say to me, cold water works much better than warm or hot, and I've only been using warm or hot. So I decided to go cold and see what results we get with that as well. And yeah, I must admit the surface patterns are still beautiful. Really, really happy. Each mold picked up different sections, and I would say that some have more gold than others, some have more white than gold, and that's okay. For the purposes of the experiment, everything's okay. We'll forgive ourselves all of it. So that is 4 molds dipped. We are testing 4 different ecos, and this is what they are looking like. I was so excited for the second one in. This one here, stop it now. Beautiful, my absolute favorite. And I'll be honest, guys, this is the way Claire's brain works, my inner brain. Part of me didn't want to do the eco video because I loved the marble so much. I was worried that the eco wouldn't work, and then I've just kind of ruined it. I'd have to go back in. Anyway, first up, we have the Eco Pour from Just For You Online. This is a powder that you add water to. Now, I will be mixing them all as per instructions, and the Just For You Online Eco Pour says 100 to 35. For example, 300 grams of powder to 105 grams of water. Now, that is the mixture I'm going to do because I'm guessing these trays take around 300 grams of anything. So that is what I'm going for. Again, this is the Just For You Online Eco Pour. I'm pouring in 105 grams of water. Exactly. We are doing it exactly. We're following all of the instructions on the backs of the packs. 105 grams water followed by 300 grams of the powder. Now, the powder itself, I'm just pouring it in. I've already used this stuff. There's no lumps, bumps, clumps, bubbles, barely. Like, it's so easy to use, and it actually goes into the water so well, and it blends in, and it just gets completely saturated in. It's very unlike Jesmonite. Jesmonite can often be very lumpy, clumpy, and very, very airy, giving lots of air bubbles in there. But yeah, you can see me here. I want to make sure that I am following the instructions on the back of the pack to the T to make this kind of like a fair experiment. But it's also worth mentioning, none of these eco pours are designed for this. Like, none of these ecos are designed to pick up spray paint from a tray. So this is all very much a fun experiment, and if it doesn't work, that's okay. It's okay if it doesn't pick up. So this is the Eco Pour. This is the consistency you're looking for when you follow the instructions. Quite watery. It's like I want to say single cream, but I feel like it's more watery than a single cream. But once you pour it, it does start to thicken up. So it's definitely not a thick mixture at all compared to like Jesmonite AC100, which is a super like really double cream, almost fresh whipped cream consistency. You'll see that now in a second. Once I've poured that in, I'm doing exactly the same to every tray. I'm just going around the outside edge with my little micro brush to get rid of any bubbles and giving it a little bit of a tippity tap, and that is it. It's also worth mentioning, I waited for the spray paint to dry in every single tray before I poured the backgrounds. Next up, we have Jesmonite AC100. Now, with Jesmonite AC100, I already know that these molds take 100 grams the liquid and 250 grams powder. So Jesmonite itself is still a part AB, but it's not water. You have to add the white liquid that is part of the AC100 kit. The liquid goes in first, and then you slowly add your powder. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I chuck it all in and then you whisk it up. So again, that's 100 grams AC100 liquid, 250 grams AC100 powder. Mix them both together, and that is exactly what these trays take. Now you can immediately see from the off, this is way thicker than the Just For You Online Eco Pour. It's very much a thick cream consistency, like a gorgeous kind of cream you'd have over your Christmas pudding in Christmas. And it's just so much thicker. It's nowhere near as watery or runny as the Eco Pour from Just For You Online. Here it is going in. It flows beautifully. Again, lots more air bubbles and potential for unmixed powder and lumps and clumps in Jesmonite, and overall I think it's actually quite weighty as well, but again, I'm treating it exactly as I would treat all the others. I'm scraping the bowl within an inch of its life, making sure that it gets absolutely everything in there, and then I'm going around the outside edge with the micro brush and doing the same again. Now here's the thing, I really wanted to try some Aquacast from Heyyyy, but I didn't realise I had none. So I failed before I started, guys, and that's okay. I do have, however, some of the black left over. Now, I already know that this black is not going to be enough for the tray, but we only need to cover the surface of the tray to see if this stuff is going to pick it up, which I was happy to do. Now, I'll be honest, my maths ain't mathing. So I had 85 grams of the powder, and that gave me approximately 33 grams of water, but I added just a bit too much water, I think. So it's not really a fair fight. In the words of Taylor Swift's, thank you, Amy, it's not really a fair fight on this one, but we're here for fun. We're here to make mistakes, and that's absolutely okay. So if it doesn't work, it's not a slight on the product itself. It just not designed to do this, and that's okay. Last up, we have Resin Create by J Diction. Again, 100 to 30. The back kind of confused me. It said 100 to 30 by weight or 100 to 35 by weight, but I think that's minimum and maximum. That's what I think that is. So if you're gonna do this, that's your minimum and that's your maximum, because a lot of these ecos, the more powder you put in, the weaker the product becomes. It's kind of designed for you to follow the instructions on the back and not really just go off track and follow your own thing. That's particularly true with Jesmonite AC100. If you put too much liquid in or if you put too much powder in, the product itself doesn't have the correct amount of AB and therefore becomes a weaker product. So I don't know about the other ecos, but generally I would follow rules. If something has a measurement on the back, I would follow it. Otherwise, hey, here we are. This is the Resin Create. Now, I have to say, out of everything, the Resin Create is the most watery product. Sorry, I think I just bashed the microphone there. It is the most watery. It doesn't it doesn't look anything like the Just For You Online Eco Pour. Definitely nothing like Jesmonite and nothing like Aquacast. In fact, I would say it's closer to Aquacast than the others because of its watery consistency. It stays this watery. It's crazy. It's almost like the initial stages of like plaster of Paris. If anyone's worked with plaster of Paris, it's so watery. And that is why I love Resin Create, because if you've got any detailed molds, this is the one. This is the one. It will get into all of those nooks and crannies so much better than, let's say, Jesmonite AC100, which is super thick, gloopy consistency. And it's so white. Like, just compare it to the left, to the Eco Pour Just For You Online and to the Jesmonite. It's the whitest out of all of them. In my experience, you guys might be finding some completely different results than me, but even on camera you can see it's crystal white. Look at the look at the air holes in the Jesmonite. Now the Just For You Online is pretty bubble free. It's quite beautiful. Jesmonite on the other hand, it's so bubbly, so you really have to spend some time on that. The Resin Create looks like actual epoxy resin. Like, that to me looks like I've just poured white epoxy resin. Stunning. Kind of similar with the Aquacast. I was just already aware that I've put too much water in here. Now, here's where the experiment is not so fair. I'm demolding after 60 minutes. Now, each and every one of these products has their own demold time, and they kind of vary, really. Even Jesmonite AC100 varies. So I decided to give them all 1 hour for the sake of it. If you guys want to go off and try your own experiment, then please do. First up, we have the Just For You Online Eco Pour, and oh my goodness me, as soon as I peeled back, I could see that it was kind of like a 70-30 split divide. So quite a lot has still stayed on the mold. Again, I wasn't really expecting it to come off because they're not designed for this, and that's okay. It's okay for us to make mistakes. It's a 70-30 divide. But what has come off, I kind of like it. It's giving me a nice, almost simplicity vibe. Jesmonite, I was not expecting a thing to come off the mold. This shocked me, like shocked me to my core. You can see my hand movements. This is the mold from Just For You Online. This is the mold from Jesmonite. Every single last little drop of that spray paint came off of the mold with Jesmonite. Now, the reason I'm so shocked is because Jesmonite AC100 as an eco is not that great. It does pick up mica. It does. It really does. I've done videos on it. It does pick up foil. I've done videos on it. But not 100%. Not 100% like this. Never. Always leaves debris in the mold. So that has shocked me to my core. Next up, Resin Create J Diction. We have a 50-50 split. It's almost like, you know, as a kid, you would like paint on one side of the paper and then you'd flip another piece of paper over it to get a butterfly print. That is what this reminds me of. It is almost, I would say, bang on 50-50. 50% stayed in the mold. 50% came off on the Resin Create, and oh my gosh, that marble, stop it now. My favourite marble result by far on the Resin Create. Now again, we're not hating on any of these products. They are not designed for this. So I'm not sitting here saying, you know, anything negative. This is just for fun, okay? Just so you all know. Okay, last up, which, poor Aquacast. I already knew I'd put way too much water in this. I didn't have much left, so I was trying to do my best. Now, here's the thing. It has picked some up. I think it's more of a 60-40 split divide, but guys, it was still soaking wet after 1 hour because I went OTT on the water. So that really does make this a really unfair result for Aquacast Elechem. The product itself is amazing. It's not designed for this, and that's okay. So we're actually going to just put the Elechem Aquacast out of the running in the experiment for this because it's not fair. I didn't mix it. I put way too much water in, but look at it. It's still picked up, which is pretty cool. Imagine if you get that mixture right, the results. When I get more of the black eco, I will definitely be trying that again, or I will just mix up some other eco and add black pigment. Okay, let's look a lot closer. These are the three results. We've got the Eco Pour Just For You Online. We've got the Jesmonite AC100. We have got the Resin Create J Diction. Now, also, these are the only ecos I've got. So if you're looking for a specific eco, I definitely recommend yourself trying it and just letting me know how you get on. J Diction Resin Create was a wow. Every single tray got these lines. All of these lines, every tray got those lines. So that was intriguing me. I love how much the Resin Create picked up from the mold. Very much a 50-50 split, but very flaky in areas. There's definitely areas where I could get my nail and simply just flake off the spray paint. So part of me wonders if it's actually adhered at all. But as for marble, gorgeous. The Eco Pour, just for you online, again, it was more of like a 70-30 divide. 70% almost stayed on the mold. It feels like barely any came off, and that's okay because it's not designed to, but we're just here to have fun. Are you getting where I'm coming with this? I don't want anyone saying anything about me doing this wrong. This is just for fun. But yes, the results are beautiful. The Jesmonite shocked me the most. Now, for reasons I've already mentioned, is actually pretty poor at picking up from the mold 100%. It never picks up 100% from the mold. At least it has never done that for me. So for this to pick up 100% blew me away. Look at the lines, these weird ridges. What is that? They've all got that. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty funky. As a whole, I would say they've worked a dream. My favourite marble result would be the Resin Create. The best pickup result would be the Jesmonite AC100. But I think if I got the marble right, if I got the pattern right, then I would definitely try the Jesmonite AC100 again and hope that I just get a better marble pattern on the surface. I think that's why Jesmonite's not my favourite at all. I think the Resin Create result is my favourite. But again, this is not a competition between brands. All brands are fantastic in their own way and they're not designed to do this. But yes, I hope you found this helpful. And it was so much fun because I'm a tad obsessed with the dipping. I'm not going to lie. Let me know if you've dipped eco and what eco you have dipped. And also let me know if you mess around with the actual directions, because if you're making your mixture a lot thicker than the directions say and it works for you, then do let me know if that's the technique. But yeah, the only reason I didn't do that is because I didn't want to weaken any of the products and I wanted it to be a fair comparison. But I will see you all in the next video. I hope you found this inspiring. I'll see you then. Bye.